Hello, virtual families. This is Principal Brown, and I'm here with our second edition of Parent Learning. And today we're going to focus on the optimal learning model for second. The purpose of our optimal learning model is to provide a structure to ensure that instruction correlates with human development and the best practices of instruction. Okay, so our goal here is to make sure that we're using the best practices for virtual learning and human development to assure that our instruction reaches our students and they can maximize learning. Our optimal learning model for secondary math and ELA starts with whole group instruction. We call this the window of opportunity. In whole group instructions, we give our teacher what we call a tight 20 minutes to do their whole group instruction, because the focus of classroom instruction should be student learning, not teacher delivery. So during this first 20 minutes, what you'll get or what you'll see is a welcome, a review of previously learned materials with some form of check for understanding before the teacher proceeds forward. The teacher will then introduce the daily agenda, the hook, the lesson standards, the learning objectives, the essential questions, and provide an assessment summary. Because for us, if a student knows what they need to know or what they're going to be assessed on, they have a better chance of learning that content throughout the learning period. So it's very important that we put the assessment summary of what students will be assessed on early on in the unit. After the introduction, actual instructions take place. New content is delivered. The teacher will model her expectations. She will also, during this period, check for understanding, using many different methods, one being effective questioning. The purpose of the checks for understanding is to assure that students are grasping the content before the teacher moves forward. After the instruction, you will see student practice. And this comes in the form of a gradual release. We call this a I do, we do, you do. Because first the teacher will do it in a modeling format. Then the teacher will do it with the students all together. And then the teacher will release the students to do it on their own in small group format. This is also what we consider to be guided practice. During their small group or individual practice, you will see the teacher monitoring the students' practice and also checking for understanding throughout the practice session. To end the whole group session, the teacher will close out with a check for understanding. After our whole group sessions, you will see small group instruction, which lasts for approximately 30 minutes. Small group instruction is ability-based instruction, and these groups are determined by the teachers based on classroom performance and classroom scores. The teacher will identify learning gaps through student data. This could be through a district test, a state test, or classroom work. The teacher will then use the small group process along with Get More Math, and Read 180 in middle school ELA to provide supplemental support and extended practice time on classroom content and assess skills. Both of these programs, Get More Math and Read 180, use real-time data to plan student learning. Meaning, once a student logs onto these programs and begins answering questions, the program will then start to direct the type of questions it gives the students based on their previous answer. This is what we consider to be both prescriptive and a predictive program. Meaning it will start the student where it thinks the student should be at the grade level, but then it will start to predict the types of questions and activities the student will do based on their answer. Okay. Also, during this small group instruction, you may see some intensive individual support. And when I say see, you probably won't see it because it will be in a breakout room. At this point, if the teacher sees that a student is still struggling in whole group and also in small group, the teacher may pull that student aside for some intensive individual support. And this will happen in one of the Zoom breakout rooms to protect the student's privacy. During this time, the teacher provides intensive individual support for students who still struggle with concepts after whole group and small group instruction. The need for individual support will be determined in one of the following manners: through the district assessment data, classroom data, or observational data. Meaning, the teacher can identify the student gap in learning through the district data such as FastBridge or Horizons, the classroom data. This could be assignments, tests, or quizzes, exit tickets or bell ringers, or observational data, just observing the student in class and identifying that there's a disconnect in the content. During this time, the teacher will facilitate reciprocal teaching to identify where the learning gaps exist. Reciprocal teaching is a process to where the student is asked to predict, clarify, summarize portions of content so that the teacher can see how the student thinks or how the student learns. This is a good process for teachers to start backwards engineering the way a student thinks to plan instruction. Get More Math and Read 180 will provide supplemental support and extended practice time on classroom contents to students who are still struggling after small group and whole group instruction. Okay? So, when you come in the classroom at the secondary level, you will see one of these three things going on. You will either see whole group instruction, small group work, or individual support. Again, thank you for attending. I hope this was useful and informative, and we'll see you soon.